All right, what's up, guys? We're back with another podcast episode. Will is here, and it's episode 50.
Oh my gosh.
Will,
the 50th episode.
We're halfway to 100.
I know. It's amazing. But you didn't even have me on the last episode. You had another pickleball paddle reviewer.
I did. He was really gunning for your spot. Braden from Pickleball Effect was like, dude, how much do I got to give you to just get me on this podcast?
Oh, really? I thought that was maybe a trial run. He sent in his resume or something. So, you know what? We'll get you a go on this one episode, see how it goes. And if you're better, you know, Will can just keep traveling. He can stay in, you know, BCO, Seattle, or wherever the heck he's at.
I'm pretty sure if you got replaced, people would riot.
No.
I don't even, like, as much as we joke about this, I think people would actually be angry.
You know, it's funny you say that because haven't you gotten comments like, hey, you need to drop Will. He's holding you back.
Well, there's been a couple of those, and every time I see those, I'm like, what is this person talking about? Like, to me, especially when I have done solo episodes, those are just, in my opinion, they're boring. But I don't know. Sometimes people are crazy. Like, I can't imagine not doing the podcast without you.
Yeah. I can't imagine doing the podcast without you either.
Now, look at that. The bromance is strong.
All right. Well, anyways, I know you've been busy at home and everything. I've been busy traveling. I just came back from two events, Beer City Open and PPA Seattle. Beer City Open was more of a job as a videographer, and it was a good time. I can see why people covet the Beer City Open and, you know, just give it high praises. It's a very well run tournament. It's very entertaining. The venue's great. Andrew Coop and Paul Richards, the tournament organizers, do a phenomenal job. Like, if you're a player, the experience is everything. Like, I think like all pickleball tournaments should be for players and spectators, in my opinion.
Would you put it in top 3 events you've been to?
Oh yeah, for sure. Probably. Okay. I mean, I didn't compete in it, you know, so my experience is a bit different. But yeah, I would say it is one of the best events, if not the best event pickleball related that I have been to. We've had a few rain delays in it as well, but the tournament ran smoothly. I don't really hear any complaints about it. I think coverage was good. They did stream it on the PPA, and I know it's not a PPA sanctioned event, but I think because it has so much clout that, you know, they were able to work out a deal. And honestly, because it's an independent tournament, they could do some very interesting things, and they're more flexible. Like I don't know if it showed on stream, but they had some they had Zane do the chainsaw serve challenge where people would just line up.
I heard about that.
Did you see that? I don't know if there's any videos of that out anywhere. I mean, I have some of the clips, and I need to like edit some stuff together for the Beer City Open social media, but that was pretty funny.
Was he breaking people's ankles?
Oh yeah, left and right. I mean, some people definitely got it, but the funny thing is that they put Althoff on the mic, and Neil Moderato was also on the mic. I didn't capture as much of it, but they were coaching people. As people would step up, they're like, okay, if he cuts it this way, it's going to kick to the left. If it goes this way, it's going to kick to the right. And they would shout.
Would they actually give them real advice, or would they tell them the wrong way occasionally?
They would try and actually help them return the paddle. But then some of them still get aced, right? And then Zane would be chirping. He's like, man, Althoff, you're a horrible coach. Don't listen to Althoff. Or it's like, Neil, what are you talking about? Or whatnot. And speaking of Neil, did you hear the story? Did you see the clip where Zane body bag or Nasty Nelson Neil on match point in a pro match?
But not only was it the match point, it was 10-5-2 in the third game. I was like, dude, you are so brave. I thought that was amazing. Zane is probably one of the only people you could expect to see that happen from. And also against Neil because they're buddies.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was amazing.
No, that was hilarious. And also because it wasn't PPA, you got to see some interesting faces, you know, and some interesting partnerships. And I mean, it was Jay and Zane. I was like, oh man, that's like heaven on earth. Watching them play together was just fun. Two of my favorite players get to play against each other. Playing with each other. That was really cool. And if you're a spectator, I don't know, it's just really easy to get around the court in the venue. There's like kind of a gazebo type area that you kind of go to, and that straight leads into, I would say, two kind of plazas or grand plazas. One is like where the vendors are, and then the other one is another where the vendors are, but it's like more food related or drinks related, and that's very centralized within the venue, and it's very easy to get to. And then from there, it's very easy to get to the other courts. Like you can get to championship court easy, or grandstand, or the players court, and a bunch of shade places to sit. And I just really enjoyed going to that event. I mean, I got to enjoy it because obviously your brother was helping me, and Porter Bar was helping me make content. And, I kind of, I'm sure your brother told you that during the whole trip, like I barely picked up the camera, even though I was the main videography shooter.
You got to experience the managerial role.
It wasn't that bad. I kind of like it. I could get used to it. Tell Isaac he did a good job.
Hey, snap! I need my beer while you're shooting this.
Yeah, he would be snapping. He'd be looking back at me, and I'm like, Cheetos in my hand, all caked up fingers, and he's looking at me, and maybe a beer in the other hand, and then I'm looking at him. I'm sorry, man, I can't hold the camera. My hands are full. Look at the. I can't. You don't want to get like Cheeto
dust on the camera.
Exactly. I think he knew. He understood.
Oh, man, that's funny. Well, I'm going to have to go next year. I mean, it would have been nice to go this year, but I mean, I just keep hearing good things about this tournament year after year.
Yeah.
Like maybe next year that'll just be kind of like a vacation trip, less of a content thing, and just, even if go play and have some fun.
Yeah, even if you can't compete, I think it was still fun to go. And after the event is done, people play rec on the courts. So get to go on championship courts under the lights and play some rec games. That's really fun. And the venue is pretty close to downtown. You can easily get to the venue, at least from downtown, biking. Like you just bike along the river, and the bike infrastructure in Grand Rapids, Michigan is like really great. Probably one of the best that I've been to. And I've been to a lot of the cities out here in the States, and Grand Rapids does a really good job with their bike infrastructure. So I just biked to the event pretty much every day, 15, 20 minutes, very scenic. And I had a good time. Other than that, I mean, people came up and said, "What's up?" People mixed us up, of course.
Mixed you and me up, or you and Isaac?
Both. I mean, they mixed me and you up, but they also mixed Isaac and you up as well. Like,
oh my gosh!
Somebody came up to me and was like, "Hey, are you one of the paddle guys? Like, are you the paddle guy?" And I'm like, "I'm one of them." And they're like, "Oh man, dude, I love your videos. You're the reason I bought the Yola Scorpius." And that's when I was like, "Huh, okay," because I didn't do a video review on the Scorpius. In fact, I haven't done like a paddle review in a while, but you did one. We did a first look, but I was in that video, so I was like, okay, I'll give it to them. And then that same person left, and then came back and said, "Oh yeah, also I love those shirts you got. Was it 3-5 forever?" And I was like, okay, he's definitely talking about Chris, because I don't even have that shirt. You made it, but I don't have one yet. So I was like, oh, okay, this person is definitely confusing me with Chris, but it's okay. I'll let it slide. But the funny thing is that Porter was there. Me, Porter, and Isaac were all around this person, and Isaac and Porter were like just kind of grimacing, and Porter decides to take it a step further and was like, "Oh, did you know that he's also a world-class speed cuber?"
Oh no! And
I was like, "Okay, Porter, now you're really digging it."
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I can for the most part understand me and Isaac, but me and you, I don't know. It's crazy how much better looking I am. I don't know how they.
You guys can be the judge. I put in the comments who's better looking, Chris or myself. And I mean, I'd have to give it to you. I got I'm almost like 10 years older than you. It's okay. It's all right.
Come on. Do you have to give me the looks, because I don't have the voice? You can take the voice, but I gotta have the looks. I can't have nothing.
We'll give it to you. I mean, you definitely have the better content, that's for sure.
All right, well, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Well, yeah, man. if you came up to me in these past 2 events and, said what's up, I really appreciate it. I think both Chris and I love it when you guys come up and say what's up, even if you guys mix us up. Speaking of which, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but when I went to Seattle and first day to check out the venue to go, not to play, but just to check it out, and the people checking in, there's this one guy, his name is Preston, and he was volunteering to work for the PPA, and he was like, oh, Chris, and then I was like, no, and he's like, oh my gosh, no, I do it, it's your will. Oh my gosh, he was like, please don't roast me on the pod, and I was like, oh well, you're getting roasted now. I mean, light roast, Preston, and we ain't talking about coffee. Light roast.
Yeah, you gave him his worst nightmare. He's like, don't do it. And Will's like, oh, I'm going to do it.
I gotta do it. Like you said it, now I have to do it. But, so many people came up and said, what's up? Love to see it. Love to hear it. And, I'm just going through a quick shout out now because, we are the People's Pod. So Kenny hit me up, BCO. Adrian came from Vancouver to go check out this event, said what's up to me. This guy named AJ hit me up like a while back. He was actually visiting Tulsa, asked me for some rec games, but I was traveling or something. I think his girlfriend lives in Tulsa. Twee, Tao, of course, Preston. And then, in my first match at the Seattle PPA, like a ball from my court went to the other side of the court. And I believe his name is Andy. He came to say what's up to me afterwards. But during the match, since he was playing in a different match, he was like, hey, keep those 3-5 shots on your side of the court. And I was dead.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
The other thing that's hilarious is that so these people that come to say what's up to us, like Kenny and Adrian and like a few of the older gentlemen who have spouses, their spouses were with them or their partners were with them, and they would introduce like me to their spouses, and the spouses give like kind of like one of two reactions. They're like, oh, if they don't really follow pickleball, and maybe they somewhat do, maybe they play, but they're like, you're one of the reasons why my husband keeps on buying more paddles. And then it's like, oh, you're the voice I always hear, like in the morning when we're on our drive, like to go play pickleball, because they're like listening to the pod. So I think it's cool. It's nice to put a face to the name, but I just think that's so funny. Like,
what always happens to me, because this actually happened recently. I met someone's wife, and they were like, oh, I hear your voice all the time because my husband listens to your podcast. And this has happened a couple times. And I always say, well, I hope that's a good thing and not a bad thing. If it's a bad thing, I'm sorry you have to hear my voice all the time. I'm like, some people find it really annoying.
Yeah.
But I haven't had anyone tell me yet, though, that they're upset that their spouse buys too many paddles. So that you got that one before me.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. They might just be confusing me for you. I don't know. But anyways, love to see it. If you guys said what's up, and if I forgot to mention your name or whatnot, it's just because I'm meeting a lot of people. So my bad. I try my best. But yeah, man, Beer City Open was great. Did you have any questions or see anything that, you wanted to talk about in the Beer City Open? I know it was like a week ago, but it's still pretty fresh in my head.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing from the Beer City Open that really stood out to me that I saw was the Jesse Irvin incident with the overhead to the face or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is just another example to me. Now, granted, I think it's generally pretty rare that these pros are getting hit in the face, but we've seen it a handful of times now. I think Megan Dazan had her nose broken last year by Tyson with a ball to the face. Jesse had this incident. I think Christian Alshon took a ball to the face at MLP. It's not that uncommon, and these paddles keep hitting harder and harder. Mm-hmm. So I just wonder at what point more and more of these pros will finally give in to wearing protective eyewear. I mean, when I've been playing lately, I'm wearing sunglasses all the time, mostly because it's sunny, but also I just feel better with something in front of my face. I already have a bad flinching problem that people make fun of me for all the time. So I'm just like, yeah, for sure. I mean, I was playing yesterday and we're just like in a hands battle, and someone like wound up kind of for an overhead or a put away. And it's like this classic, I call it the booty bump, but it's like if I'm facing at the net, I turn left, and it's like I put my butt out to the net, but also put my paddle there. And it rarely does the ball go back, but occasionally the ball goes back. and then it's perfect. I actually have an Instagram clip of this from forever ago that I should repost.
Okay.
So all that to say is like, if I didn't have protective eyewear on, it'd probably be even a little worse. So I just think at some point it's going to be much more common than it is. I'm sure the guys will cave last because their ego's on the line, but I don't know. I just think it's going to be smarter and smarter to put on protective eyewear.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I mean, playing against some of these pros, they hit pretty hard. I'm jumping a little bit, but in Seattle, I did get a chance to play with and against Lauren Stratman, Judith Castillo, and Julian Arnold. And those balls are flying. Like it's pretty hard to, kind of react to them when they're just smacking them at you like at full speed and full swing. Especially Lauren Stratman. Oh my gosh! Do not have a ball even like semi in like the yellow zone like to her backhand. Like she rips that thing across, and it's an absolute rocket. It is kind of terrifying.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How did you end up in that game?
When I got to Seattle, I got a chance to play against Julian Arnold in a Pros vs. Joes match. I recorded it, and Lauren and Judith decided to also pull up to warm up because we went to a court that's further from the venue. And
I see.
Because it was just packed, and it's hard to find courts in the city of Seattle proper, and we'll get into that a bit later. So they just wanted some time to warm up, and they decided to come through, and then we just kind of got to talking, and they're like, yeah, you want to play some doves? And I was like, yeah. Like, what am I going to say no? Yeah. But here's the thing. I had my cousin Bernardo come with me. He came from DC to come visit Seattle, and it's his first time in Seattle, and it's his first tournament, and he had a blind date. And I would say he's closer to like 3.5, 4.0, like 3.75, something like that. And he got firsthand experience. We played against both him and I played against Judith and Lauren Stratman and totally got murked. And he was just like, okay, I see now. There are levels to this game. And then we swapped partners, me and Judith versus him and Lauren Stratman. I think Judith and I came out on top, just barely though. And it was like, I don't know, 11-9. I think we only won by 2. It might have been 12-10. I can't remember, but yeah.
Sure.
It was tough. Lauren's a tough customer.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. And before we get like more into Seattle, I want to say one last thing about the Beer City Open. They had Nick from Tropical as one of the MCs for the event, and that was the best thing ever. Everybody needs to hire Nick to do some of the announcements prior to matches started. Yeah. Like just his descriptions of players when they come on the court are just so funny. I think he mentioned something about DJ Young. He said something like, paddle throwing extraordinaire Darian DJ Young steps onto the court.
That's funny.
Yes. See if he can knock one out of the fence this day. And, just stuff like that. They're
that's
just
pretty good.
Yeah, no.
I like it.
It was cool seeing Tropical on the mic, But yeah, man, Beer City was good. And in Seattle, like I said, I came in a little early, got to play with Julian, some of the pros, go around the city. It was more or less for me a trip to Seattle, like to see some of my friends and catch up with them. And then the tournament was somewhat of a bonus. I would say, I don't know. I didn't take it probably as seriously as I should have. And partly also because you weren't here. Like I had my partner, Jeff, and didn't go so high.
Yeah, let's, this would be the time of the podcast where I would like to call back to whatever episode it was, where I don't remember if I said you guys would go 0-2 or that after you guys did bad, you'd come running back. But do you want to just fill us in on what happened, Will? Do you want to let us know?
Yeah, basically, guys, I went 0-2. I played 4-5, 19 plus, went 0-2. And it was a rough day. Actually, my whole entire squad, like it was me, Bernardo, Jeff, and then you remember my buddy Justin and Nam and his uncles. We all came to play. all of us went 0-2 for men's doubles. The 0-2 gang.
Oh no.
0-2 gang.
The whole group.
The 0-2 gang. Well, actually, Nam's uncle, they played in, I think, 40 plus. I can't remember if they split up the brackets into decades now, but they got bronze in 5-0, like 40 plus, I believe. So not everybody went 0-2. So we had a few dubs. We had a few dubs in the group, but
yeah, well, so what happened in your guys' matches? I didn't think you guys would actually go 0-2, but now that it's happened, I do find it a little bit funny.
Okay. So let's see. I wrote these down. I don't know if I was playing, like, I wasn't playing bad per se, but my opponents were like spot on. So I got to give them a shout out. And here we go. Let's see. First round. Okay. Colby Holcomb and Derek Thompson. Now I know Derek. We met Derek in Atlanta when we went there to compete at APP with Shay. When you were competing with Shay, we met Derek there. And
which one did I play against, Derek?
I can't remember.
Was he in 5-0 or what was he in?
No. You didn't play against him in the tournament. We played kind of rec games with them. Like, this is the time when you got a chance to hit with Christian Alshon.
Okay. Oh, I see. Gotcha.
And then on the next court over, Shane and I were playing some rec games. It was with Scott Wong and Derek. They're both here from Seattle. And, Derek, I gotta give you a shout out, Derek. You've improved tremendously since the last time I saw you. Like, it was just, I gotta steal your two-handed backhand, like, cross-court dink roll thing. Like, it was rough. And we basically lost the first game 11-1, okay? Rough, okay? Second game, we actually won 11-8. And then third game, we lost 11-4. And I think up until they got bronze overall and they made it to the semis, like through the semis, they cruised. I think they won. They didn't lose a game. And I think they won pretty soundly. I think we gave them their only loss. But I was like, okay, this is kind of like a good sign. But, Cole, tell me why this. Okay, first round match. Like, you kind of have to warm up a little bit. It's a little colder in the morning. And we get Derek and Colby, and they're a righty-lefty duo. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of rough because you're trying to get in the swing of things. And I haven't really played too many very skilled, high-level left-handed players. And Colby was like a menace. You're trying to drop something in the middle. Like, both of them were just like eating these balls. I mean, my drops aren't good enough. Then next round in the loser side, we play another righty-lefty duo. And I was like, why? What are the chances? And let's see, the second round we played, I think they're also some Seattle natives. Bun Safan. Bun, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I think that's like probably a Thai Laos last name. And then Jason Bedionis. And they crushed us too. 15-3. Just, It was a rough day.
What happened?
Honestly, like, we couldn't play soft. I don't know, it was nerves. Jeff was here. Let me tell you some stuff that happened, okay? Because
give me the deets on Jeff.
Okay, we were playing well. We played some rec games and like the day prior when everybody got into town, and we were playing pretty good. Albeit our rec game started like around 11 a.m. when the weather's a little bit warmer, the DRs were a little softer, so we didn't really play anything early morning. I don't know if Jeff was gassed or whatnot, but Jeff plays rather aggressively, and I said, okay, this is what we'll do. I'll stagger. I'll play more of the defensive player and get balls back in, and Jeff would kind of come over, poach over, and I would not hug the kitchen line so much. I give him room to kind of come over and take balls out of the air, and he was just hitting balls a little long, a little out, and I think, I don't know, his strokes and his shots weren't going in, so he's being a little tentative. So some of the drives were a little bit more airy, a little bit more weak, and then we would just eat it. And then I just couldn't reset all these back, very well. And in our second match, right, there's like two interesting things happened that I remember. First off with Jeff. All right, we get into a point or a rally that we should have won. Jeff's getting like 3 overheads in a row, and he's moving them back, side to side, and then one of them resets it back to me, and I'm playing the right side, and it's like perfect, like anybody, and I'm ready to do this, and Jeff's like, mine. He comes all the way over, and it's literally like it was so far to the right. I probably could have earned it. That's how far. It was definitely going to go in, but I probably could have earned it. And it wasn't, but I didn't need to. It was in the perfect height. I would just have this overhead, right? He comes over. He comes over, hits it. I actually think he barely misses it. Maybe he makes it, but it was a foot fault. I was like, foot fault, and it was an egregious foot fault. Like,
oh no.
Yo,
oh no.
It was egregious. And I was like, oh, Jeff.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
And I'm like, Jeff, what are you doing? And then sometimes when I be playing left side, all right, and I was like, okay, it's time my turn. Like, maybe I need to be the aggressor or whatever. We were stacking and trying different things or whatnot. There's one, like, Jeff was like, call it. And he's on the right side, and I'm ready. I'm loaded up. And then, like, we bump into each other. He's like, oh, mine. And I was like, I don't know what it was. But the communication that day was just not on point.
Oh, man. Well, You know what? Chris Olsen's stock price went up while you were gone, so it's gonna it's gonna cost you like a nice meal at Cane's.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know. It's gonna cost something.
It's gonna cost something. Shoot, no, man, you can't. What? We got Kansas City next. You can't go play without me. There's just no way. It's a.
Oh no, I won't play without you. It's just the price went up, so it's just gonna cost you more to do.
Okay.
That on a serious note though, it is unfortunate it didn't go well. Like 0-2 never feels good. I went 0-2 at just a local singles tournament recently, and it was honestly, it just felt embarrassing. I did not feel like I should have went 0-2. I mean, maybe I should have because I didn't really practice for it, but it just, I don't know. I felt very bad about it. I know this was more of like a vacation for you, but like, I hate the idea of 0-2. Like, it bothers me a lot.
Someone's got to go 0-2. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to be Chris. I'm just kidding.
I think the only time I've ever gone 0-2 was this tournament, actually, and let me tell you, it didn't feel good. I didn't like it.
Okay, let me tell you another story about this. So, I saw some people come through. I saw Grant Bond. He came up,
Nice.
Old, like, hitting partner of mine back in Tulsa, but he asked me, this is after I went 0-2. He's like, oh, what's up, man? What's going on? He asked me what I was playing, and then I was like, dude, I'm playing 4-5, 19 plus men's doubles. And he looked at me, he gave me an eye roll, and then he was like, you sandbagger. And I was like, yo, I just went 0-2. I'm definitely not sandbagging. I was like, there's no way you go 0-2.
Here's the thing. You can, I think, at your highest level of pickleball right now, you can play 5-0.
Yeah.
But getting you to hit that level and stay at that level is really hard.
No, this is true. This is the gap. The gap is, my lowest and my highest. The gap is too great. It's because I don't drill enough.
Yes.
Maybe I just mess around way too much. But I mean, it just kind of goes to show you that really, like, pickleball is one of those things, like one of those sports, games, whatever you want to call it, that on any given day, somebody can just come through and wreck you. Like, the game is so easy. You have no idea. It's almost, I can't think of anything else where, you're good at the game, but like some rando. I mean, I'm not saying some rando, the skill is climbing up, but it can happen. Somebody who hasn't played the game before could come and beat you. You could be having an off day. And that's just the way pickleball is, man.
Yeah, sometimes it's real streaky.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is you better hit the reps before Kansas.
Oh, don't worry,
because you and I are never gonna have an 0-2 streak.
No, there's no way. There's too much on the line when you and I are playing together, and I just know, like, if I perform poorly, I just would not hear the end of it from you. Just knowing how you are, like, there's just I don't.
You
want
know
that
what
ever.
though? What might add some more pressure for you?
What?
Patrick and Isaac, for those of you who don't know, my siblings, will be in our 4-5 bracket.
No
and I'm
way.
telling you right now, Will, there is no chance on earth I am losing to my brothers at this tournament.
Oh, okay.
So,
no, we're not losing to them. Like,
no.
I got Isaac's number down now after playing with him.
Oh, true. You got to see him play. Okay, good. You're familiar now. So now just
he has
take a screenshot.
Better. Yeah, he has gotten better. But, there's some weaknesses in his game. Like, well, I don't know if I should tell him. Well, he's going to be editing this pod. So
don't tell him he's going to be editing this pod. You're going to give away our secrets.
Okay.
I am excited for that tournament, though. I think it's going to be a a good time.
As long as we don't have to play them first round. Like, that would be crappy.
Oh, dude, if we play them first round, I'm going to just be convinced it's intentional, because I think everyone knows this curse where you travel however many miles and then play someone from your hometown. And it'd be even worse for me because I see my brothers every single day.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Funny you should mention that, because back at the Beer City Open, I talked to Paul Richards, one of the tournament directors, organizers, just overall OG. He said, I missed like he usually looks at the draws, and since he knows a lot of the players and stuff, if he sees a matchup like that are from like the same town that he knows, he actually goes out his way to, separate them a bit. But he said he did miss, I guess, one of the rounds for one of the brackets or the levels, and then like 2 people did play, and he was actually quite upset about this. Like, no.
Dude, that guy's a real hero, though. Those are the types of guys we need running these things. I'm like, dude, if you just see him with the same last name, just move him.
Yeah.
Just, how about, if same last name, put him somewhere else. Don't put him in the same
You should just put that in the algorithm, like the bracket organizing like algorithm or whatnot. Same last name, opposite sides, like automatically.
Yeah, seriously. I need to double check, but I think our bracket is kind of small for Kansas. I mean, granted, we still have a little bit of time, a little under a month now. We're probably talking 2.5 weeks, but I don't think we were over like 6 people in our bracket. And I think mixed was the same or even smaller for mine. So I'd be very curious to see how this pans out.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how, I guess, confident people are about, I guess, Kansas City, like pickleball, I guess. And honestly, I was concerned about how Seattle would go as well, being a national golden ticket qualifier. I don't know if the Kansas City, pickleball scene. The Kansas City pickleball scene is big. I just don't know how the rest of the country views it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And maybe that's why there's lack of interest. But I think it's going to be big. It's a golden qualifier. It always gets people. It's gonna happen
for sure.
It's gonna happen.
How was the layout, by the way, over there? I saw some pictures. It looked really good.
Yeah, I was surprised. So it is 5 lidded tennis courts, and they're just on a straight row, right? And there's like kind of like a parking lot, and they resurfaced everything, and I think they turned it into 25 dedicated pickleball courts. And the venue was actually pretty good. Parking was a little like tough, but getting there and moving through the venue and the courts was pretty good. It was pretty decent for spectators. Probably, I would say, one of the better layouts that I've seen compared to some other tournaments. And yeah, like that parking lot that's usually right in front of the courts, they turn that kind of into like where the vendors are, where the food trucks are and whatnot. And it just felt, I don't know how else to describe it, but it felt very like long. It felt like a long hallway kind of, but it was just simple. You couldn't kind of get lost in the mazes. You just know you have to go down or back up, right? And to get to your court or to get to wherever you want to go. So, not a lot of moving around, and then, good places to sit. There's bleachers and stuff for everybody. Funny enough, when I got to Seattle, and I know that they were still like last minute resurfacing some of the courts or whatnot, or getting set up. It was on Wednesday, I think. And when I walked there were some tennis players. They were talking to their friends like, yeah, we can't play here. It's all just pickleball. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like they didn't get the memo. And I was like, ooh. Yeah.
So there was an article that the PPA put up during the tournament that was allegedly that some tennis players were going to come protest and they were going to be really loud and obnoxious. Did that never happen? Because I never heard anything about it.
I don't think it happened. And
cowards. Cowards.
So I heard there was definitely the Greater Seattle, I guess, like Pickleball Club. I'm not sure their exact name, but they held a little funeral for those courts because after the event, they turned them back into tennis courts. And I think the pickleball players here in Seattle, I mean, they say that Seattle has a lot of pickleball courts, and I think they have them kind of spread out in like the greater Seattle area, but within the city proper, there's only like one or maybe two places that I know. And the main place is the Green Lake, like pickleball, like courts. And the courts are not in the best shape. And they used to be tennis courts. They're lined, painted, but they're fading out very, very heavily now. And some of them use temp nets, and there's only 8 courts there. And that place is always packed. They need a place with more players. I mean, not more players, more courts. And I think, I think the pickleball players here in Seattle were hoping that would be the place. But then the tennis players, is not going to let that happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it makes sense. And honestly, I don't know. What do you think about that? Like them tearing it down. I mean, you put all this money to resurface these courts and you paint them pickleball lines. And I doubt they like scrape. I'm sure the surface, the clean new surface is kept there. They just repainted it, and maybe that was a deal done with, I guess the tennis players or the Seattle Parks and Recs that will let you host the tournament here, but we get to keep the resurface, but you have to reline them back for tennis courts, And
yeah, I mean,
shoot,
it's always tough because here's the thing. It just depends on how much those courts are actually being used. If they're constantly just vacant or whatever, then yeah, convert them over. But it sounds like if there was at least a petition or the potential that they were going to show up and be angry about it, it sounds like the courts are actively used. And if they are, then keep them how it is. Because, I mean, I think the way I constantly view this is pickleball players will very often get mad at tennis players and they're like, oh, just give us your courts. But I'm trying to imagine that if badminton suddenly was like taking over our courts, and they could just add a raised net, like, yeah, we would all be really upset about it too. It's like, dude, go get your own courts. Like, I only understand it if the tennis courts are never used. Like, there's a tennis court next to the pickleball courts by me that really don't get used that often. It seems like maybe once or twice a day, but most of the time it's just empty. I'm like, okay, we should probably just convert that to pickleball. But if there were people there more hours than there were not, I'd be like, well, yeah, it's in use. Like, give it to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I kind of agree, with you. It's sad to see them, go back, and because I know there's a lot of demand for it here in Seattle. But
yeah,
I mean, me being, it's no secret that I love, and I still love tennis. Like, I think if I was a tennis player and those courts were not changed back to tennis courts, I'd be pissed. Like imagine if it was not even like tennis versus pickleball. Like if you were a pickleball player and like tennis, and it wasn't tennis, it was another sport. Like, I don't know, they came over and took over your turf to use your course. Like, I don't know, something random like cricket or something. Not to hit on any.
Yeah,
cricket
everyone
players
would
out
be
there.
upset both ways. For sure.
Right, exactly. Like, you'd feel some type of way about it. So, but
yeah,
I think overall the event was a good event, and I think it was a win for a little bit of everybody. I mean, PPA got, their Seattle Open going, from what I understand, without a hitch. Pretty good event. And the pickleball players here got to either, compete at a fairly high level and see some pros play. The tennis players here in Seattle Parks and Rec, they got essentially a new surfaced court for their park that I'd assume that they didn't really have to pay for. I mean, I don't know the details of the deal, but they got brand new tennis courts that I think the PPA paid for essentially. And I mean, it sucks or sad for the pickleball players here that have to go back to just the regular Green Lake Park area. But I mean, they have 8 courts there. I think that court just needs some love, just like a resurface. Yeah. And if they were able to put lights there so that players can kind of like get their fix in, like, it'd be better. But it is what it is, People are going to play where they can play. There's other places in parts of town that you can play as well that I've been to. And it's been nice, dude. So, yeah.
For sure. Well, I would just want to go over some results real quick because there were a couple things from the tournament that I actually thought were pretty interesting. So I think it's probably no secret. It was kind of I think one of the biggest talks of the tournament, but Leah Jansen's now retiring from singles after playing her last match against Annalie Waters. Did you stay for any of the finals on Sunday or no?
Not for the finals. I only stayed Saturday to watch some of the games. But as you could imagine, like I was over it. I was like, okay, I'm not sticking around here to watch more pickleball. I've been like connected with pickleball for the past like 2.5 weeks, and traveling. I'm over it. I'm gonna go get me some poke. I'm gonna go get me some potatoes, some sandwiches, and I'm bouncing, guys. Peace.
Well, I watched it on TV, and it was a very exciting match. So game 1 was tight the whole way through. I think Leah Jansen had a comeback. She was down a little bit, and then she ends up winning at 12-10.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, we're about to have the like perfect goodbye story. Like finally gets the singles gold. And then the next game, she gets pickled. Oh, God. And I was like, dang, Annalie turned on the boosters.
No, man, turned on the villain. The villain story is like, not today.
Yeah, seriously. And then the last game was 3-11. Annalie ended up winning. So it was sad to see her not get a win on her very last one. And I was like, I wonder if she gets this win, if she would keep playing singles. My guess is she probably would have been done, but I was like, I don't know, maybe that's the fuel to finally go, you know what, I beat her. Let's go. Let's keep going. But it sounds like her doctor's been saying like, yeah, you really just shouldn't be doing this. Like it's bad for you. So, health is very important. But it's going to be sad because the women's draw is just not that deep for singles, and Leah Jansen's like the only person who can. Well, she basically would give Annalie any trouble.
Yeah, she came close in Texas Open. She should have beaten her, but didn't happen, man. I mean, Annalie Waters just too strong.
Just doing Annalie Water things. So it'll be. I mean, basically, Memes of Pickleball said it best. They said, congrats to Catherine Parento on the eternal silver for the rest of ever at the PPA Tour.
She's the new Silver Surfer.
Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah. That's a good title. But so that was sad to see. But I don't know if you got to see any of these games, but from home, they were crazy, dude.
I saw the highlights.
Martinez Vic in singles, dude, first game against Ben, loses 13-15. That was such a nail biter. Like Ben was getting so frustrated. There were some insane points. Like he's so fun to watch. And then, Ben did end up winning the next one 11-6. So he won in 2. But I was like, dang, this is a nail biter. It was a really good game.
How was Martinez Vic playing? Like, was he
to me, he was playing really well.
Just passing shots. Like, what was the style? Like, how he was getting his points
mix of both.
Then?
Like, there was some good cat and mouse, some really good passing shots. I mean, dude, his top spin is absolutely insane. Like if you just watch his serve, his passing shots, like there's so much top spin on that dude's shots. It's insane.
Yeah, man. Something up with that black diamond you got, yo. That thing's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I was playing with one the other day, and it definitely generates a lot of spin. But I was like, this guy is in a whole other ballpark of his own. And then after that, it was the Connor Garnett versus Ben in singles. Dude, this one was even crazier.
Yeah.
Connor wins 12-10.
Yep.
Then the next game is 12-14.
So close.
And then game 3 is 8-11 and Ben wins. But I was like, dude, Ben had to have been. This is probably the most Ben has ever been pushed in a
singles tournament
day of singles ever.
Yeah, no. And for anybody who says anything bad about Connor or doubts his skill, because he won gold at the Beer City Open. He's like, oh, it's because Ben and not all the top singles guys. I was like, yo, you guys are crazy. Like, Connor Garnett is like top tier, and it just goes. Look, he performs next week and the following week against Ben like this. There's no way you can't doubt, Connor's skill. And I said it from the first time I met him at the first minor league. I was like, dude, this guy's going places, and he is. Would love to see it. He's a cool dude. Love Connor.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. I think he's very clearly a great up-and-coming player. I mean, I don't even know if you'd say up-and-coming at this point. Dude's got a gold, and he's in a semis against Ben. Like, yeah, he's crushing it. He's going to be exciting to watch, and also his two-handed backhand is just motivation.
One of the best in the game, for sure. It makes me, honestly, so when I talk to Connor, like, I I looked at, because he plays with Zane's paddle, and
Yeah.
it just makes me think, like I'm seeing his two-handed backhand, I kind of want that long, elongate handle more where I don't have to put my finger on the back of the paddle face, like, or just to make it easier.
Okay. So let's talk about this a little bit really quick, because while I've been doing all of these backhand drills, which by the way, I realized the other day, I don't know how I screwed this math up so badly. I was flabbergasted, but it's okay. So in one of our last podcast episodes, I talked about how I was doing a video about like how I hit 25,000 backhands, right? Well, I was getting to the end of it, like the end of the 2 weeks to hit all these backhands. And then I don't know what, I was like just punching some stuff in the calculator. I was like, oh, how many more do I have to go? I was on like day 13 or something.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the number came out to or whatever, but I was, like 14,000 backhands or something like that. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to almost be at 25,000. I'm like, how on earth did I screw this math up? And I think when I was originally doing this, I thought I was going to be doing 1,200 in each session, which would be 2,400 a day, which would have got me there. Mm-hmm. So all that to say, I was very confused when I was nowhere near my number. So we changed that number to 15,000 backhands. But anyways, my first few days of doing this, because I always put my finger on the back of the paddle as well.
Yes.
I was hitting so many backhands, and some of it was a new motion for me because I was like correcting things. My left wrist started hurting quite a bit. And I was like, well, to me, I was just like, okay, let's try taking my finger off the back because that might help. And I've been hitting with, a double black diamond or a Forza. They're all the same handle length. And my pain went away when I stopped doing that. So now I've just stopped putting my finger on, like I just trained myself out of it. I honestly don't think you even need that much longer of a handle because I'm going to guess my hand. Yeah, I think you just get used to it, and you use a handle that's longer than mine anyways. Like, I mean, actually, the one you use is the same length as Zane's. Like, I think in my video, like, I held them all up, like, the neck spacing and everything.
I don't like, because with my left hand, when I grip it, I mean, I don't know, you can't see it, but I don't grip it, like, straight on like this. Like, the finger kind of extends a little bit like this. So I need that extra, but when I do that, it hits the bottom taper, like, and the same thing.
I see. It's because of your finger extension.
My finger extension. It doesn't like go straight. Like my knuckles aren't all touching. My pointer finger knuckle is always separated, and that's just how I like it. I mean, I would have to change it up, a little bit, but yeah, I'm sure I could figure it out. But yeah, I was watching Conor Garnett's backhand. I'm like, okay, I need this backhand, dude. Like, what it.
Dude, for my video, I did a lesson with Onik, and we talked about Conor's backhand a little bit because both of them have just really amazing backhands or whatever. But it's just like both of these guys. I'm like, we did a bunch of slow-mo of Onik's backhand so I can show people and then kind of like overlay mine or whatever. Yeah. Dude, it's crazy. I mean, first of all, this little series was a lot of fun because my backhand got so much better in a relatively short amount of time. I don't know, especially after the lesson with Onik. There was just like a few really eye-opening things.
Arguably one of the best backhands in the pickleball game out there, like right next to Conor Garnett and probably like Haley Waters. Like I think those three have some of the best, at least two-handed backhands in the game out there.
100%. 100%, completely agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just try it for a while. Just like force yourself to put your finger down, and you might get used to. Because I didn't think it would work for me. I was like, this is terrible, and now I don't even notice it. Like actually, when I put my finger back up, I'm like, how did I do this? This feels really wrong.
True. I will say, well, the one part of my game that has improved, that I have noticed improved, is actually my backhand roll, like below the net or flick that Jordan Briano has taught us. I've been hitting those a lot better, a lot cleaner. Probably still like not as consistent as I would like it to be, but now when I do hit it, it's like, oh, that's the spot where I want it to go, and the ball did what I wanted it to do, which is a good sign. Although sometimes, like, I'll spray it a little bit, but I've noticed that it has improved. I just need to drill that probably a little bit more, and then also, I think I'm going to try and do the two-handed, like, swinging volley sometimes because, like, that one-handed one is just not cutting it, at least for me right now. and I'm just
being that's next on my list that I want to add is like a better two-handed volley, because I'm sure if I just watched myself do a bunch of them, I could do a similar thing as what I just did, and like it would be nice to have that side be more of a weapon.
Right, exactly. And also I just need to practice more, because I think at least when I'm playing at these higher levels, I do find myself liking to play the right side just like a tad bit more. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I like my right-handed or my right-sided dinks a little bit better. And plus I have access to the scoop. You know I love the scoop.
The scoop?
Yes, the cross-court scoop.
The scoop, baby.
Yep. So that was that. Let me see. Any other notable stories from... Oh, gotta tell you the story. The casino adventures.
Okay.
Okay, well, I didn't really hit the casino. There's some casinos here out in Seattle. If you guys have gambling problems out there, definitely go talk to somebody. I'm not here to, condone gambling or whatever. But my buddy Nam came in from SoCal, and he's hanging out with us. And his uncle, who got bronze, the following day, it was like Thursday. They came in Thursday night. They came in at like, I think their flight may have gotten delayed, but they got in at like midnight. Okay, Nam went to go pick them up. I stayed at home at the Airbnb. I'm chilling, and we're supposed to play pickleball the next morning, like drill or whatever, at like 10 a.m. Nam goes to pick them up. I did not see them or hear them come back until like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I slept on the couch. And I was like, "Where the heck?" And it's like, "Yo, they got picked up and they went straight to the casino."
Priorities.
Look, that's day one. Next day, after we went to go drill, got lunch. They hit the casino that night as well. And I was like, dang.
Oh my goodness.
And then they didn't get back home until like, 1 o'clock or whatever. Granted, Nam had to wake up at 7 to play Saturday morning, like with like me and Justin and my partners. But his uncle Ryan and DK, they didn't have to play until 2. So, they could afford to be out late. So that was casino part 2. And then, of course, the day of work, we were the O2 gang, right? They finished late. They had bronze. They're like, we got to celebrate. Let's go to the casino.
Oh my God.
All right, here's the thing though. Nam went to the casino and Nam was like, "Yo, well, you trying to hit the casino?" I was like, "Nah, man. I can't let my ego get hurt and my wallet get hurt on the same day. You're nuts."
For real.
So, right? But Nam comes back like at 1 o'clock or whatever. I think he went up like $3,000. He's like, "All right, Sunday, guys. Boba, coffee, meals, all on me, sponsored by the casino." And we're like, all right, bet. Somebody got to win. Somebody got a dub. And we were about it.
Dude, that's crazy. Don't ever let me go in a casino, because knowing my personality, that would be a problem. I mean, I think
I don't think
the financial responsibility part of me would not ever let me do it, but I also just know I have the personality. Like, I am the type of person that would have that problem if they got into gambling.
I can see that. But also, I just feel like you wouldn't be a person to start gambling in general, because I just feel like you're somewhat risk averse.
For sure.
So
yeah, I'm definitely risk averse. I just can't imagine a scenario where I'd ever even want to go to a casino. But I'm just saying, if somehow we ever doozy on into a casino, nope. Don't let me do anything.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I mean, walking into no casino without Nam, because he knows all the games and knows how to play. And coming after, he was like, "Nam."
Clearly, he won.
Yeah.
But okay, here's the real question though.
Yeah.
He won $3,000, but how much did he lose the other nights?
The other nights, I don't think he lost that much the other night. I'm pretty sure he came out positive. Like, I'm pretty sure. Like
it wasn't too bad. He only lost $2,900 the other 2 nights.
I don't even know if he played that much the other 2 nights. It was mostly his uncles the other 2 nights. I'm sure he was tired going to pick them up from the airport and heading straight there or whatnot. But who knows?
Dude, that's crazy. Well, what a nice Sunday treat.
That's right. Yeah, man. Other than that, not much else. Played some rec games, went to the beach, did a few little hikes. I did play with Thomas Wilson's new upcoming paddle from Carbon.
How's that? Yeah.
12 millimeter, and honestly, it's pretty good. Like, I don't know if it's because I'm just used to the thermoform paddles now or whatnot, but it did hit hard, but it didn't hit as hard as I thought it would.
Sure.
It was very interesting. It definitely was like more feedback than the 14 millimeter, right? But I don't know. I just felt like it was quick. There's a lot of pop on it, but I just felt the velocity didn't carry nearly as, far, penetrated the court nearly as much. But I didn't get.
Well, really quick on that, actually.
Yeah.
I've been talking to some people about this because I've observed, and I've seen a lot of people observe, that most of these thermoformed paddles, the thinner model usually doesn't hit as hard.
Okay.
And there's, I don't know if I should name any companies yet. I can't remember if they told me this part should be secret. I don't know. I just assume most of the conversations are private, so I won't name who. But basically, I had some conversations about this, and they actually gave me some possible reasons, or just some physics stuff about why the thinner thermoforms might not hit as hard, and that has aligned with all of my experiences on these thinner ones. Like the 14 millimeter double black diamond, I've told people I don't think it hits as hard as the 16. It might be poppier, but overall power I think is lower. And then I'm completely blanking on some of the other thinner ones I've hit, but I've noticed this across the board, and it sounds like you noticed it a little bit with the 12 millimeter.
Yeah.
So
whatever.
Don't be surprised if you got, the flash 14 millimeter, I thought hit noticeably less hard than the 16. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I do feel like they come off the paddle face faster, but yeah, I just feel like they just don't go, they don't keep that speed, through the court for a longer period of time. So you can kind of decide for yourself like what you want. But this kind of also goes in, like, remember way back when one of our first episodes, we talked about paddles and we're talking about power, and I said something like, yeah, I don't know, I think the 16 millimeters hit like a little bit harder. Sometimes the thinner paddles don't necessarily have as much power, but we didn't define pop and power at the time. But you made a clip about it, and you're like, really? Like, you're just giving me so much sass.
No, I can't remember if, I'm going to have to go back and look at that clip, because I can't remember if it was about, maybe it was about thickness. Maybe it was. I can't remember. I was trying to think if there was like something else we talked about. But hey, let's make this clear. This only applies to the thermoformed paddles, not the other ones. So we'll get this guy. We can clip this one too and then play them
Chris
side by
just
side.
Can't stand to be wrong ever.
I do hate to be wrong, but it does unfortunately happen on a regular basis that I end up being wrong. Nice. Well, is there anything else you got?
Nah, man. I guess I'm just ready to go back home, finish up this work I got to do, and then practice, get ready for Kansas.
Get ready to leave again.
Yeah, ready to leave again and get ready for Kansas City. I do have to swing by Austin in about a week to help Zane film like another batch, and then I'm also doing my interview with Brian.
Wait, are you doing that in August?
Yeah, it was like Zane got these.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man.
Dude, you're traveling more than me now. This is I never would have saw this coming. This is crazy.
I didn't either, but it's fine. This is the life that I chose.
It's true. This is the life you chose. I mean, Zane's always a good person to go see, though. He's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll get a rematch in with him.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, gotta see. I gotta play with his paddle, dude. I can see why his paddle is the most tested, like, on the tour. That thing is gritty. Like, the one that I got, like, when he first launched it, did not feel nearly as gritty. But these new ones just are absurdly gritty.
I've been hearing about this. I've been hearing about how much it's been getting challenged. So I'm getting another one to go and check or whatever, because I had a similar thought. I was like, my first one wasn't crazy, and the RPMs also didn't show it was very crazy either. So I was like, I just need to get my hands on a second one of this thing.
A little second look.
Yeah, I mean, if it's actually as busted as people are saying, I'd gladly make another video about it.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I've been hearing a lot of rumblings about it.
Yeah. So, gonna go see Zane. I think I'm doing 2 other podcasts, like interviews with Brian Lynn from Building Pickleball. I know you did an episode with him. That was a great little episode. So I'm really looking forward to that. He's going all out. He's like, hey, he like rented out like a studio or like an Airbnb.
He got a studio for you too?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he got a studio for Kyle. I saw that.
Yeah. And then he tags me and I was like, bro, I get one of these Zoom interviews, and now you and Kyle get, bro, I want to redo. We're taking the other one down, and we're redoing it.
I don't know about that. It's okay. He just
wait. So when are you doing that? Oh, when you're there for Zane.
Yeah, I'm there. So Zane set us up for like a Thursday, Friday session to do the recordings.
Got
and then
it.
I'll probably stick throughout the weekend, and we'll probably do it that weekend. And then Jeff also wants to do, I don't know, something with me as well. I don't know. Maybe I'll squeeze in.
He wants to go 0-2 again.
Who knows? If I have time, maybe I'll hop onto the Dink podcast. Who knows? Just kidding.
Oh, dude, that would be fun. You're just doing the podcast tour.
Oh yeah, we'll see. Doubt it though. But yeah, man. And then fun. After that, we got Kansas City. Should be a good time. We'll see. I got to practice some, but I'm glad that you're practicing. So one of us got to carry the team. So, you know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if my back's strong enough by then.
Oh, yeah, don't blow out your back. Shoot.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, this is a fun episode, man. I'm glad you'll be back soon, and getting ready to leave twice again in August. This man has no chill mode.
No chill at all. You just gotta. You just gotta, when things come, you just kind of like, I don't know, you guys gotta take it, see what happens. I think this is the time to do it, because I just know, as much as I complain about it sometimes, I think this is the only time that I think I can kind of pull this off right now. And
for sure
take these kind of jobs and make these travel arrangements, because I just know like a year from now or so, like I'm like, even if those opportunities arises, I don't think I'll take them. So take them now while I kind of still can have the energy and the gusto to kind of want to do it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff. Well, thanks everyone for listening to our 50th episode. Here we are on our way to 100, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
All right. See ya.
Nice.